After finishing high school, I immediately got married and started my family. Without a college degree, I found that pretty quickly my options were limited. When I started looking around for a college program for working adults, I quickly found that Rogers State was a great fit. They worked with me to get financial aid, offered classes that fit my busy schedule, and gave me personalized attention that I couldn't get at a larger school. Rogers State definitely started me on my professional career.
I am back in the kitchen, and right now I am joined by Chef Donnie Connor of Acosta Food Service.
Well, I'm going to do a chicken rumaki, and I was blessed to send this recipe into one of the companies that I represent, Talk Off, and it won a recipe contest. So I wanted to share it with everyone, and it's very, very simple.
Yes, please.
It is a pound of chicken breast, cut it into little bite-sized pieces, maybe, an inch or so. I marinate it in a teriyaki marinade with about a 1/4 cup of sherry wine, about a teaspoon of ginger.
Now, do you like the ground ginger, or do you do the fresh root and grate it up?
I actually like the pureed ginger, or, with Talk Off, we had pureed ginger. If you don't have pureed ginger, if you just have the dry ginger, use it, but it adds a really nice flavor. We're going to marinate our chicken for maybe hour or so. Chicken picks up marinade very quickly. Very quickly. And then guess what we're going to wrap it in? Bacon. Everything's good with bacon.
Everything is awesome with bacon, and I must say I am so pleased with how much bacony deliciousness these chefs have been preparing for us today.
But I've already marinated the chicken here, and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to roll it in a piece of bacon and a little toothpick through it, and we'll put that in a pan like this, or if you just have, a flat top
sheet pan.
Sheet pan, thank you. That would be just fine. And before you put it in the oven, sprinkle brown sugar over it. Put it in the oven for about 350, and then I toasted the top with these wonderful ovens here at Han.
Indeed.
And I will show you what I have.
Yes, please.
With the magic
of television, we have got
voila,
some beautiful
little chicken rumakis. And you can serve these warm. They don't have to stay hot. You can cook these ahead of time. They microwave well. Not that I like to microwave things, but
these are great, very simple, handy little party food.
Oh my goodness, it's like eating chicken candy. It's really, really good. I have friends that just say, hey, we're having a football party, can you make me chicken rumaki? Or we're having a party for blah, 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 can you make me chicken rumaki? So now everybody knows how to do chicken rumaki, and they can do it for themselves.
I knew that.
The other recipe that I have is a bread pudding recipe. And I have a lot of friends that was like, I don't like bread pudding. And I was like, well, you haven't had my bread pudding.
You got the wrong friends.
I do have some wrong friends, I promise you. But I do mine a little bit different than some. Everyone has a little twist on bread pudding and such. But I put craisins in my bread pudding instead of raisins. I'm not a raisin fan, but I do like craisins, which is the dried cranberries. You can also put dried blueberries in it if you want.
Nice.
Apricots. It's just a nice little change. I find there's a lot of people that don't like raisins, and they try this and it's good. So let's talk about bread pudding.
Let's do, because that is one of those, I think people are sometimes afraid of bread pudding because they think it sounds complicated, and they think that it sounds like there's a whole lot more going into it than
the thing I like about bread pudding is, you can use leftover bread.
That's kind of where this recipe comes from.
Exactly. I've got a loaf of French bread here that I've diced into about 1-inch cubes. We're going to let that set for just a second, and we're going to start off with 32 ounces or a quart of milk. If you want to make it richer, you can use half and half. If you really want to make it rich,
if you want to get
heavy
real
cream.
Decadent.
But we've got milk here today, and we're going to add 4 eggs to it.
Because you're basically building a custard base here, right?
Exactly. We've got 4 eggs, 2 cups of sugar, which I already have measured here in my handy little Ziploc baggie. We're going to add that. About a teaspoon, or I'm sorry, a tablespoon of nutmeg.
I can smell
And
that
a
from
tablespoon of cinnamon. Or a little bit more, it doesn't matter.
here. It's to taste.
It is to taste. Then I put almond extract and vanilla. Now the almond gives it just a little different taste too, so we're going to do a tablespoon of each. And then I love
You
this
gotta
little
love
gadget,
the stick blender.
because you just put it in there. We're going to mix that well. You can smell that almond, can't you?
Yes, a little bit of cinnamon wafting through the air.
Alrighty. And the nice thing, you can just take that off, stick that in your dishwasher, and get on with life.
And I so love a dish that so beautifully doubles as both dessert and breakfast.
You can. I've eaten it for, well, I've eaten it for lunch too. We're gonna add our breadcrumbs to this. Bread cubes.
Chunks. And you
And we're
know
gonna
this,
let
you
this
can really just
soak.
pull that apart.
You could.
Anything, you know, it doesn't really have to even be.
I'm trying to be proper here. I usually get down in it and get after it.
Well, I meant, if you've got leftover bread, it doesn't have to be all uniform and pretty because
No,
it's
not at
gonna
all.
get all mashed together anyway.
Not at all. If you have croissants work great. A friend of mine at Asbury, Virginia, she makes wonderful cinnamon rolls. She had a pan of leftover cinnamon rolls. I used the cinnamon rolls the other day for my bread pudding.
I've seen people use donuts. I've seen, you name it.
Now, I would not use garlic bread. I don't think garlic bread works.
I like savory bread pudding though.
Well,
I'd leave the sugar out.
I
but,
think I would too.
But something like that with a little fried egg next to it, there's your breakfast.
Okay, Tess, what have I missed?
Tess, what have you, I know what you've missed.
The craisins.
Oh, I meant this.
Oh, nah, I'm not. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
I was gonna. We were gonna get in trouble out here.
I forgot to say the craisins.
Are soaking.
You want to soak those in bourbon before you put them in there.
I hate it when
So what do you do with the drunken craisin?
feed them to a cheese wench.
You mix that. You spray your pan. We're going to put that in there, bake it at 350 until it starts pulling away from the sides, and you're going to have a nice little crust on the top. And we're going to pull it out of the oven. And we have, voila, bread pudding. Let's make a quick bourbon sauce.
Yes, let's.
I've already got it going.
I'm rooting for you here, ladies. And gent, I forgot, we have a new guest at our.
About 3/4 pound of butter. And can you use margarine? Hell no.
There's a reason I love this guy.
And then I add about 2 cups of brown sugar. And then bourbon or whiskey. If you want to do rum, you can do rum. Just add
That looks pretty.
and we're gonna let this cook.
How long does that?
Let's add a little more.
I don't know about you ladies, but I want some of that sauce.
Amanda's gonna make, this is the best bread pudding I've ever had.
So how long do you like to let your bread soak before you transfer it to your?
At least an hour.
At least an hour.
At least an hour. You want to make sure that all the liquids have absorbed into the bread. If there's a little bit, it's okay because it's going to continue to absorb as it cooks. We're going to turn that off. That's ready. Why don't we serve some?
I think that's an excellent idea. Pardon me.
Excuse moi. Woo.
That smells.
80 proof bread pudding sauce.
If you're gonna do something, you might as well do it right.
And I made a mess. That's what towels are for.
That is indeed what towels are for. All right, could
And
you
we
make me
rip it.
one more little mess on that plate
I would
right
be
there,
happy
please?
to. No, I better not try to pour it.
That might be a big mess.
I should have brought a ladle.
It's artistic.
And
then our
my Ramakis.
thank you. And then our chicken.
Chicken candy.
Well, you know they say bacon is meat candy. Nice. Maybe one more little plate. Nobody else. We're crying. We're
Have you been tasting all this stuff?
not yet.
There we go.
My
Enjoy.
big pile of plates over there, and I'm getting ready to take these and add to it.
Miss
Chef,
Amanda, thank you very much.
thank you so much for joining us. This looks absolutely delicious, and I'm ready to eat.